What is up, and welcome back. My name is Brett Martineau, and I am thrilled that you are here. In this edition of Think Like Me or Don't, I'm going to show you how I set up Taskwarrior to give me only what I need to see, keep me from getting distracted, and keep me on task, always doing the most important thing that I need to be doing at any given time. Now you might be wondering, Brett, you're in a car. Why are you in a car? Are you planning on making this video from your car? No. I had to go pick up Sue from the airport. She was in Canada over the weekend. And lucky her. And so me and the dogs drove down to go see her. In fact, cue the driving sequence. So quickly, before I cut to the actual meat of this video, I just want you to know, if you have not watched the video that I made about coming up with the rules for your task management system, in other words, coming up with how you determine which tasks should be done when, you need to go watch that video. A lot of what we talk about in this video is the technical setup of that strategy, but if you don't actually have that in place, it's going to be a lot more difficult for you to get the most that you can out of Taskwarrior. If you watch it, I think it's going to really help you when you come to set up the stuff that we're going to talk about in this video. So, without any further ado, there you go. Sorry, just one more little ado. You really need to see this. Never stop. Alright, what's up? So this part of the video I want to actually take you through and show you this Taskwarrior setup, how I have it set up and how I have it configured. By the way, for this segment, I have released the Krakens. You can't really see them, but they're... well, let me show you. They're basically destroying each other. So there will be noise in the background. I apologize for that. So let's take a look at my computer. I want to go through each of these pieces, talk about what they are, why they're there, and then give you kind of the rundown of where you go to make these configuration changes. Now, this video is going to be in 3 parts. So the first thing is going to be the actual window, how that's configured. The second thing will be making sure that you have the right commands to make it refresh the way that I have it. And then the last thing I want to go through is the important part, which is how to configure Taskwarrior itself to display my tasks in the right order. So let me take you through this program, right? So I'm on a Mac. This is going to be specific to a Mac. If you're on a PC or you're running Linux, it's a little bit different. You'll probably have to use Tmux or some other terminal emulator, which is going to allow you to split up the different sessions within one window. iTerm 2 is beautiful because it allows me to do all this stuff on the fly. So what I do is I open up a window and it looks like this. And then I can go split pane horizontally or vertically. So the first thing I'm going to do is split it vertically, which is going to give me these 2 panes. Then I'm going to split this horizontally. This guy we're going to divide vertically. This guy we're going to divide horizontally. And then here we're going to go vertically and horizontally. The other thing that's really cool about this is I can move each of these windows wherever I want. So if I don't like this being next to each other this way, I can just stick it underneath. So now I've got them this way, and then if I want to move it over here, or if I want to click and drag and put it, on this side, I can do that. So now we've got the actual windows set up. Now the next thing we're going to do is set each of these windows up to give us the information that we're actually looking for. Okay, so I'm going to take you through the individual commands. Now, what I use to get this to refresh is a command called while true. I don't know where it comes from or how it works or why it works, but I know how to use it, and it's like this. So what we're going to do is while true, and then colon or semicolon, I don't actually know which one that is, and then do clear, which again is going to clear out the entire terminal window so it'll actually refresh, and then double ampersand, and in this one, this is where we're doing the weather, so we're going to do curl, C-U-R-L, and then WTTR.IN. Then we have to tell it how long to wait before it runs it again. For this one, we don't need it to refresh all that often because the weather doesn't change that often. So I'm going to do sleep, let's say 360. That's what, 3 minutes, and then done. Okay, so that's going to pull up the weather. Now, one thing about the terminal that you'll realize pretty quickly is that some apps have a minimum width that they have to run in. So we got to find it for this one, and then also you see there's a minimum height. So we're going to go bingo. Stop. This is a nightmare. So I mentioned this before in the video that you may have just seen. If not, you should go back and watch it. It's the video about how I prioritize my tasks and like the theory behind the way that I do it. I only have the top 3 tasks on my list available for me to see at any time. And what that does is it allows me to always know what I should be working on now and not worry about anything else. I want a system where I've already decided how tasks should be prioritized, but then I don't want to worry about tasks until I need to worry about them. So we're going to do while true, do clear and task next limit :3. Okay. And this one we're going to sleep for 2 seconds and then done. Now, if I come in here and I complete, let's say I complete the top task there. So I say task 16 done. What's going to happen is it's going to auto update here. Task 16 goes away. This report over here is going to update. This report over here is going to update. And now you can see task 4 has shown up. Okay, so last thing I want to do is show you exactly how this is configured in Taskwarrior. So in terms of like the actual prioritization, so how we take the rules that we talked about in the last video, how we install those into Taskwarrior so that we can get this set up to actually work for us, okay? So what we want to do is we want to take a look at the task.rc file. So we're going to say sudo nano, which is the text editor. You can open this up in Sublime Text or a normal text editor if you want. I like to do it in nano. And then it's going to be .taskrc. Taskrc. Okay, put in your user password. And now you can see here, this is my configuration file for Taskwarrior. This down here is the money section, okay? Urgency. Urgency is how Taskwarrior decides which tasks show up at the top versus which tasks show up at the bottom. Now you'll see here, there's this thing called an urgency coefficient. Now down here, I've got these tags set up so that I can keep track of which clients should be given higher priority versus others. So you can see here, I tag my clients by the name of the business, and I just give it a coefficient anywhere from 10 down to 0, right? So these guys pay me the most, so they get put at the top, and then all the way down. Boom, 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 all the way down to the bottom. And now if I put a task in, you'll notice it's always going to be set up based on this particular order. Now, this is just a coefficient. So this does not mean that the tasks for stay ahead are always going to be on the top and the tasks for, let's say, PLI are always going to be below that, because it's also going to take into consideration the due date and the priority that you actually put in there. So this is a little bit difficult to actually see, but let me split this. Let's see if we can actually, how much more we can squeeze in here. So if I just say task, that's going to give me my whole task list, right? And you can see here I've got this win daily task is up at the top. It's got a 12.8 urgency, and then you got a stay ahead task underneath it. Well, if we look back over here, stay ahead is like 4 slots above win daily. So what's the deal there? Let me show you. If we look at task 1, it's going to give us exactly how this is being calculated. So down here you can see, first of all, the project that it's on, 1, that's not giving it anything. Blocking, it's blocking 2 tasks, so it's a little bit more important. The urgency goes up. Tags, so it's got a particular tag which is giving it an 8. That's the win daily one. When it's due is giving it a little bit more juice, and then also the priority and how old it is. So if it's been there for a while, the priority is high, the due date is approaching, and it's blocking other tasks, that's going to bump up the priority. Whereas if we look at task 4, you can see here all we're dealing with is the tag, the due date, the age, and the priority itself. So this one's not blocking anything, which is why it shows up lower. Okay, so we'll get rid of this guy so we can come back over here. But what you're going to do is you're going to come in urgency.uda.tag or .project, depending on how you want to set yours up. I do it by tag, and then you give it a coefficient which is tied to a particular project or a particular client. and that will then give your task list. It'll put your task list in order for you automatically. And then when you create this report that tells you what to do, you're only going to show the top 2 or 3 tasks. So you're always on task no matter what you're doing. So that's kind of how that's set up. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We'll see you in the next video.